It's important, especially myself being in the education field, to speak on policies that need reform. Speak on policies that need reform in the education system. So at this time, I'm proud to bring up Ms. Chanel Poe. Ms. Chanel Poe, I'm truly honored that you're here tonight. I'm a part of her Progressive Power Activist Training Program, and so I'm truly honored that she was able to take her time this evening to come speak with us just a little bit about the necessary education reform that's needed here in the state of Arizona. Ms. Chanel Poe.
Let's give another round of applause for Christina Thornton. This is so beautiful. I am so happy to be here to support her. I was like, I wouldn't be any other place but to be here to support you. And woo, Pastor Stewart Jr., that's what I call him, Warren Jr., that was a heck of a word that you just shared with us. You know, when you talked about leading from your guiding principles and about what it is that you stand for and doing things from a godly way, how many of us feel as if we mirror God's image? You know, it's really important that we do the best we can to be the best people that we can and utilize our experiences to make an impact. And God has chosen me to become an elected school board member so I can make an impact for 2,700 students in my district where 90% are on free and reduced lunch. When we talk about the moral aspect and the value set that one must lead from when looking over our children, we must look at them as if they were our own. We must think back to those various things that we have experienced growing up to know that it's important that students may do things differently and it may be a cry for help. And in terms of when you talk about education reform, one thing that I am dead set on is looking at every piece of policy through an equity lens. And through this equity lens, we can look at the disproportionality of student suspension and student referrals. And we've looked at the number in these districts, and it's a huge gap. And it's time that we close that achievement gap by giving our students and providing them with the necessary resources that they deserve. We have children who are growing up in single-parent homes, who are dealing with ACEs, as they call it. That's adverse childhood experiences. It's childhood trauma. It's dealing with addicts in your family, violence, abuse. And then you are to come to school, which is supposed to be your safe haven, a way for you to learn and educate yourself and be able to express yourself. But unfortunately, we must recognize that there is also a disproportionate rate of teachers of color that really understands what our students of color need. And this is why professional development is so critical and key. So as a school board member, I push to make sure that our teachers are receiving cultural conscious training, that we start having conversations about implicit bias. Now, you know, I'm so thankful that, you know, God has given me a voice to be put in the realm where I can actually make a direct impact in my community. Some people don't want to saddle, you know, they don't want to ruffle any feathers and think about the status quo. But if you do not utilize your role and position to stand up and do the godly thing and to do what's right for everybody, we are to a detriment as a nation. So when we talk about what does that look like, it looks like making sure that our teachers have some of the necessary trainings that some may not have brought up before. We also want to make sure that they have classroom management skills. But we also want to make sure that we're looking at programs such as restorative justice. If I was not fighting vigorously, daily on the school board, reaching out and asking necessary questions to help explain this data that we already know, but what exactly are we doing to change the trajectory? We would not be piloting this program, and there was a host of other staff and teachers that understood the importance of this. We know that our children face unique needs in this day and age, and we want to make sure that that policy reflects that. When you look at bullying, you know, I was so dead on of looking at this policy through an equity lens. Bullying was my number one cause. I was making sure that we do not end up in a situation where one of our students end up murdering themselves. So therefore, starting off that conversation about bullying, we were able to implement a comprehensive equity committee. Sometimes we talk a lot about the word equity, and it could seem like a cliche or a word. Well, I am very proud that my district and our school association is looking at implementing language that will protect all students. When we talk about the rhetoric and the hate that we see in this year's election, it reminds us as Americans and civilians of who we are not. We must cling on to unity and what makes us so strong and rich within our diversity. And understand, when one community struggles, we all struggle. We all struggle together. And not only when we struggle, we have to stand up and stand by one another's side. And we have to be bold. And we have to look at policy language. We have to have professional development. And we have to have, hey, sometimes those conversations that make individuals are uncomfortable. But I'm not here to make people comfortable. And I hope that you aren't either. Our children need us now more than ever. We need funding towards full-day kindergarten. Children who are living in poverty are already starting behind. They're coming to school hungry. 1 in 4 students are going hungry. So God told me to make my mind up. And I made my mind up a long time ago that my commitment is going to be to the community and nothing more. He showed me how to utilize my power, strength, and influence to empower others to walk in their purpose. And there's nothing more beneficial than that. And there's nothing more gratifying than that. So I stand here today as an education advocate, as an elected school board member, and a commissioner for the city of Phoenix to know that individuals like myself are standing up and we're praying together. We're praying and we are putting language and policy in place that's not just going to protect one person, but it's going to protect all of our children. We have to love and, of course, look across our face and love on our Muslim community who needs us so desperately right now. We have to think back and remember about the discrimination that we continually endure. We have to think about the wage and the pay gap. And if our children are receiving adequate and equitable education, I empower each and every one of you to not only vote yes on your school bond boards and overrides, but attend some of your school board meetings. Local politics is the way you make a most effective change. Thank you so very much. And to Christina, God bless you, keep you, and you continue to plant seeds in others and continue to unite our communities to show them that we are stronger together. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. At this time, we're going to speak on another issue that is dear to my heart, that is dear to, I'm sure, the hearts of the people here tonight, and that is immigration reform. So at this time, I'm proud to bring up Ms. Alejandra Gomez.